You know, one of the things I've noticed, ladies and gentlemen, talking about entertainment news, TV, movies, all that stuff, is that it's normally the people who no longer can benefit from this space that are the first ones to try to advocate for some sort of weird diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense, because they know ultimately their career is done. There's nothing they can do to benefit from it. They've already benefit everything that they possibly can from it. They've made all the money they could from it, and now they're ready to ruin it and kick the ladder out from under them for the next person who's coming out. Now, what am I talking about? Well, apparently Molly Ringwald, which is the actress who played in The Breakfast Club, apparently thinks that the remake that's coming out, or would be coming out potentially, needs to be more diverse because that movie was very, very white.
What's that?
Sushi.
Sushi?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Molly, who is herself a white woman, is advocating for the erasure of white people in a Breakfast Club remake. Why? Well, quite simply because she already benefited. She already got all the money she possibly could and the fame from it. There's nothing that I know of that she's in right now that's prominent. She has completely moved on from her career, and now she's going to kick the ladder out from every other person from under her who is white and try to use it to shill for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's honestly one of the dumbest things that I've seen. And to call this movie extremely white just completely ignores what that movie was actually about, which is true diversity. That movie, Breakfast Club, spoke to the diversity of the cast. And we're not talking about the simplistic version of diversity, which is just stupid skin color that nobody has a choice in because they're born whichever way they're born and they have no control over it. We're talking about real diversity. We're talking about the different kinds of people that you experience in life, especially in high school, all coming together and realizing that they have a lot more in common than they first thought. So let's get into this video, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says, in the opinion of 80s cinema icon Molly Ringwald, should Hollywood ever wish to remake 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, or Pretty in Pink, said remakes would have to be more diverse in order to really represent what it is to be a teenager in a school in America today. Now, right off the bat, a statement like that makes me want to rage to the absolute moon. The reason why is because, are you seriously sitting there and telling me that the movies have to be more diverse in order to represent what high school looks like now in America today? When you were in high school, there was plenty of fucking black people in your high school. I would imagine, even in some of the whitest neighborhoods, you still would have saw plenty of black people in your school. Even if it was a small percentage, you still would have saw them. If you're trying to sit there and convince me that there was no black kids in your high school or in high school in general, and the only way to represent high school as it is in America today is to showcase more diversity because apparently black people didn't exist back in your time in high school, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you really are completely far gone. I don't even think you thought of that statement before saying it. I'm almost positive you didn't, and I'm sure it's just something that you're spewing out that somebody told you at one point or you heard from somewhere at some point. You mean to tell me that high school is more diverse now than it was in the past? I'm talking about a recent past, right? Like, you're an 80s film star, a recent past. You mean to tell me there was no black people in your high school? You didn't see black people anywhere, not even anywhere outside of high school. You are talking as if black people and non-white people just magically started existing in the last 10 years. That's what I hate about these fake-ass fucking virtue signalers, is that because they chose to ignore non-white people in the past, now all of a sudden they're trying to force everybody else to find out their own discovery that they just recently found out in the last few years. They're the ones that found out non-white people exist. They're the ones that found out that black people and Latinos are a thing. And now they want to talk to everybody as if they now need to go figure it out, as if we didn't know this already for many years. It says Ringwald weighed in on the prospect of possibly remaking the trio of John Hughes-directed teenage coming-of-age films while speaking with Variety's Senior Awards editor Clayton Davis following her reception of the publication's Creative Vanguard Award at the 2024 Miami Film Festival. Per a clip of her appearance provided by Variety, at one point during her time on stage, the actress was asked on her thoughts on remaking any of the above films. In turn, Reginald Ringwald asserted, the movies that I'm so well known for, they were very much of a time, you know, and I think that if you were to remake that now, I think that it would have to be much more diverse. You couldn't make a movie that white now. Why not? Why the fuck? Like, you know, oh my God, bro. I don't want to get heated because, again, this is a person that benefited greatly from her being in this movie, okay? You benefited greatly from being in this movie. If you believe that the entire premise of this film is the fact that it's all white and that needs to change because you can't have an all-white movie now, not only are you retarded, which we know that you are, but not only are you retarded, but you completely, and I mean completely, missed the entire point of those movies, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody who's watched The Breakfast Club will understand that that is a more diverse film than most of what we've gotten in Hollywood, and I'm recently anyway. And I'm not talking about skin color, because ultimately you can have a whole bunch of diversity on screen, but if you have no diversity of thought, then you're not really diverse at all, in my opinion. You are surrounded by many different people that all think different things in The Breakfast Club. That is the whole point of that movie. Different people of different backgrounds finding common ground when they're forced to. That is an interesting aspect. Just because they're all white doesn't mean that the movie wasn't very diverse. It had an extreme level of diversity of thought, something of which you never will understand. Then she says those movies are really, really white and they don't really represent what it is to be a teenager in a school in America today, she added. But I think that they were really great and they were of that time, and that really represented Hugh's experience. Now, think about that. She literally, she's literally saying that this is representative of a time back then, whereas now you have diverse people in America today. So she clearly came from a school that had no black people in it whatsoever. Zero. Her neighborhood, probably no black people in it whatsoever. Zero. She's literally admitting that in the comment. This is not the first time that the Riverdale actress has spoken to the lack of superficial diversity in her Hughes Helm filmography. Yet, interestingly enough, in her previous discussion on the topic, Ringwald actually recalled how despite none of these three films featuring a cast that contemporary critics would consider diverse, she was constantly hearing from various non-white, non-straight individuals regarding how much they identify with the film thanks to its outcast messaging. And that was the whole point. The outcast messaging was the entire fucking point of the film. I'm not thinking about John Hughes right now, but of the films that he left behind, she wrote in 2018, reflection on the film penned for The New Yorker. Films that I am proud of in so many ways. Films that, like this earlier writing, thought to a much lesser extent, could also be considered racist, misogynistic, and at times homophobic. The words fag and faggot are tossed around with abandon. The character of Long Duke Dong in 16 Candles is a grotesque stereotype, and other writers have detailed far more eloquently than I could. And yet I've been told by more times than I can count, by both friends and strangers, including people in the LGBTQ community, that the film saved them. The monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story star, recalled, leaving a party not long ago, I was stopped by Emil Wibbekin, a gay African-American friend of a friend, who wanted to tell me just that. I smiled and thanked him, but I wanted to say was why. There is barely a person of color to be found in the films, and no characters are openly gay. A week or so after the party, I asked my friend to put me in touch with him in an email. He, a journalist who created an organization called Native Son, devoted to empowering gay black men, expanded upon what he said to me as I left the party. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it is just more proof, and I'm glad that she was caught and recorded saying this. There is more proof than any that you don't have to see your skin color on screen to be able to connect with the character. You don't have to see your sexuality on screen to be able to connect with the character. These are two extremely superficial and basic forms of diversity that almost anybody can achieve, especially the skin color thing, right? Like, you are born with a certain skin color. You have no choice in it. It is the easiest thing for you to do because you didn't have to do anything to do it. You were born that way. In terms of being gay, yeah, some people I feel like are genuinely born gay, but then you're going to have a good amount of people who are doing it for the clout, especially now, because being gay has a whole bunch of benefits for it. Being gay is literally the way for a lot of people to try to claim that they're diverse, to claim that they're different when they don't have any other superficial diversity to them. A lot of white people are coming out as LGBTQ because that's the only way that they won't get shunned away for being a white person. It has been proven time and time again, and you know what? The fact that this woman, after literally succeeding off of this film, kicked the ladder out from under her for all other white people to follow, that clearly shows me everything I need to know about this actress. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.